right. You know, tomorrow marks 10 years since Superstorm Sandy hit the Northeast.
The storm left 157 people dead in the U.S., mostly in New York and New Jersey. Sandy did $65 billion worth of damage, including about $19 billion in New York City. More than 2 million people in New York, they lost power. Neighborhoods were flooded, along with New York's subway system. Take a look at that video. This week, Mayor Eric Adams said everyone needs to be ready for the next major storm.
Storms like Sandy, they were once estimated by scientists to occur once every 100 years. That has changed. They're becoming stronger and more frequent due to our rapidly warming planet. We don't have another 100 years to prepare. We have to prepare now.
Mayor Adams also cited Hurricanes Fiona and Ian as examples of the damage that these major storms can do.
You don't want to waste the opportunity to use what you've learned from these storms.
And we did learn a lot. Unfortunately, you get these major storms, and you do learn a lot. You see where some of the weaknesses are in the communication, some of the weaknesses are in the forecasting. But one thing, like he was alluding to, we're seeing stronger storms, and that's just the fact. We're seeing these stronger storms. A warming climate is contributing to that because of the warmer ocean waters, the warmer air temperature of the storms that become major hurricanes, guys. We're seeing, or of the storms that are becoming stronger hurricanes, we're seeing more of them. So there's just an increased likelihood that as these storms get stronger, more of them are becoming major hurricanes. So we're just continuing to see an uptick in the number of the storms that could be more devastating, could be more catastrophic. And that's exactly what we saw with Sandy. Now, Sandy was a little bit more unique because of the fact that it was a late season hurricane. It started to merge with one of those mid-latitude cyclones or low pressure systems. So it started to transition from a Category 2 hurricane to then just a more typical low pressure system, but it was still a monster storm. Tropical storm force winds extended out over 1,000 miles from the center of the storm as it made landfall near Atlantic City in New Jersey. And that was one of the issues, and one of the things that we learned from Sandy was that just because it's not a typical or a textbook tropical system doesn't mean that we shouldn't still communicate the threats of it like it is. So there's the satellite imagery. You see the field cloud extended all the way to eastern Wisconsin with Sandy as it was making landfall. Some of the changes that we've seen, though, since Sandy are really important to note. And one of the big one is that tropical watches and warnings can be now issued or remain in effect after a cyclone begins to make that transition to a post-tropical system. Because what happened with Sandy is those hurricane watches and warnings needed to be discontinued because it technically wasn't a hurricane anymore as it was making landfall. Another thing that's changed since Sandy is now we have storm surge watches and warnings, something that we talked a lot about with Ian. Back in 2012, we didn't issue, or there wasn't an advisory for storm surge watches or warnings. And also, forecasts have improved because of the new geostationary satellite, the GOES-16, that improves forecasts. We're seeing improvement in that forecast cone of uncertainty. While it's not always as great as it could be, it's improving, and that's the most important thing. Science is moving forward, forecasting is improving, and that ultimately is going to save lives. So Hurricane Sandy was a devastating storm, but we learned a lot from it, and that's always important. You have to move forward. You have to learn from past events.